Okay, we're going to try and cover sound, light and design as quickly as we possibly can. We're going to focus particularly on stage design and light, but a little bit about costume design and so on. Okay, close to 5 minutes as we can. Theatre design is both artistic and practical. You've got to think about mood, atmosphere, expression, colour, but you've also got to think about entrances, exits, transitions, making sure people can be seen and so on. It's both artistic and practical. Design and performance are intrinsically linked. People often think, oh, design is a separate thing to performance, but they're intrinsically linked. The designer and the performer have to understand what each other are doing. The performer needs to understand the set, they need to understand lighting cues, they need to understand how they fit into the overall atmosphere, and the designer needs to know what the performers are going to do and perhaps think about what opportunities they need to give the performers. If there isn't a different level there, the performer can't use a different level. They need to think about how they're going to integrate with the world of the play. In the exam, you've got free rein. Anything that a highly equipped, high-class, top-class professional theatre could have access to, you have. List of what we think about. A lot of them are very straightforward: period, style, genre, location, the themes, the meaning, the feel of the piece, the mood, the atmosphere. And the last point about the practical demands of pace and transition. Different plays demand different kinds of design. Some plays require big set pieces, big spectacular locations, and they might be written in such a way that they have music that's able to cover transitions, big song numbers, and then as a designer maybe you can get away with slowing down the pace of the play because there's things there to cover it in order to have big set changes. You may be able to work big set changes into the action. Other plays, The Trial being an example, move very swiftly, very quickly, and we need to keep the pace up, so therefore we need a different approach to stage design for plays like that. Fundamentally, shape, scale, colour, texture, materials. Remember back to the activity last year where I got you to imagine a chair and then describe the chair without naming it. Shape, scale, colour, texture, materials. That applies in many ways as much to costume if you change perhaps shape to cut. And think about cut and fit and things like that. Colour, texture, materials would apply just as equally. Sort of stage is going to go through it incredibly quickly because you should know all these already. You've basically got amphitheatre, a proscenium arch. You can't get away with calling it a normal stage or something like that. It's proscenium arch. End on or open stage, like a proscenium arch with no archway, so it's harder to cover and hide various things. There's a proscenium arch with a thrust, sometimes referred to as an apron. Thrust is more aggressive than an apron, it comes out further. An apron is more like the lip, the curved area at the front of a stage. Theatre in the round, difficult to design for because you've got all sorts of sightline issues. Really exciting to perform in one, but difficult to design for. Traverse, not many of those in the country. I've only ever been to one, but a brilliant space if you want an intimate feeling play. Again, sightline issues for design. Promenade, getting out. If you've been to Lancaster, seen the play in the park, that's a great example of promenade. Designing for specific locations in the real world, really interesting challenge. I'm not sure I would recommend you to take that approach with your A-level paper though. You've got a lot to write about to justify and explain the decision. You're probably better sticking in the theatre with one of the traditional stage types. Styles of design, again, symbolic refers to putting in, you might put things in that symbolise, for example, in 1984, a play all about bureaucracy and all about government spying on people, set design full of filing cabinets with books and files and information, symbolic of that the records that they keep of people, the fact that everybody's lives are written down and monitored. It was quite realistic. Symbolic work could be really expressionistic, in which the design basically symbolises the mood, the feelings of the characters. Realistic, don't need to explain that. Minimalism, again, don't really need to explain it. I would say don't use it unless the style of the production demands it. If it's a very physical production, then probably, you know, we've got at least a partially minimalist design there. The Trail, yes, definitely. Other productions, no. Composite set, when you've got different locations on one stage, so let's imagine a house, and we might have on the stage, we might have a bedroom, a living room, and a bit of the garden all on one stage, and the lights move, the lights light up different areas depending on what part of the stage is active, what scene is being played at the time. Some technical language, it's all on your vocab sheet anyway. You've got that anyway, so let's look at some examples. The revolve, top left hand corner, find the mouse, there it is, top left hand corner, the revolve spins round, rotates. You can split a revolve with a wall down the middle of it, so that when it rotates, if it rotates 180 degrees, then you reveal a whole new scene. So the audience viewing from this side wouldn't be able to see behind the wall. It spins and then hides what was at the front. That moves to the back. That revolve's got hydraulic platforms within it going up and down. You've got a backcloth there. There's a backcloth, like pantomime painted, often painted in a three-dimensional way, and often linked in with the wider design on stage. It's a kind of very quick time-saving device. If you want very quick scene changes, they just fly in and out. And there's a cyclorama. The cyclorama is a plain white cloth, a often curved cloth, which its sole purpose is, because it's plain white, you could project light on it, used for creating big sky effects, or in that case in a sort of horrible green effect, but that colour is coming from the lighting onto that white cloth. If the back wall of the theatre is black, then it doesn't pick the light up as well. Gauze, so it gauze, if you think about net curtain, light it from the front, it's solid, light it from the back, it becomes see-through, and so that you can create silhouettes, or even with a thin gauze it effectively becomes invisible, so you can hide something by lighting it from the front, and then when you want to make it visible, you bring lights on at the back that are brighter than the ones at the front, and therefore the audience can see it. Think about net curtains. When you're walking down the street at night and somebody has their look through their window, they've got net curtains, you can see right into the room, because the light is brighter in the room than it is outside. If it's daytime, the light is brighter outside than it is in the room. You can't see through the net curtains, and gauze works in exactly the same way. Top right hand corner, just a picture of the bars in the fly tower. Attach anything you want to those bars, fly it in and out. Really quick way to make scene changes, although things do have to be unhooked, and so stagehands would have to unhook things from the or actors for that matter, if it suits the production, would have to unhook things when they've been flown in. Moving on to lights now. One question, two different lighting states. We get really hung up on colour, and colour is really important to a lighting designer, what colour you're going to create, but more important is the feel, and we can break the feel of lights down really into two things. Is it warm? Is it cold? That's a fundamental question for any scene. Is this warm? Is it cold? Is it passionate? And that's obviously warm. Is it icy and tense? That's cold. You know, is it mournful and sad? Cold. Is it loving and happy? That's warm. We can put virtually every emotion we can put in either warm or cold. And when you're thinking about warm or cold, two things you might want to think about. The warmest colour of light is straw, a lovely straw yellow sunlight colour, or cold steel, a cold icy hard feeling colour. Two colours there: straw, as in straw what a farmer has in his fields, or steel, as in the metal that you build ships out of. I'm not sure if you do build ships out of steel, but anyway, metal that you build things out of, straw or steel. Learn those two things and you've got two really accurate colours to draw upon straight away. Let's go. Different kinds of light there. The videos that are attached will take you through what each one of those does. Lighting effects, backlighting, You can see backlighting, silhouettes, combine that with the gauze. We've been through that. Footlighting, cast shadows up, make things bigger, monstrous effects on the back of on the back wall of the stage, for example, or on the cyclorama in that case, from that picture. Just go back to this very briefly. The videos that are attached take you through loads of different kinds of lights. Those 4 are the ones that I would suggest are the key terms to learn. If you know those 4, you can be really confident that you can actually create most lighting effects. I don't mind you learning other ones, obviously. Any knowledge is good knowledge. Almost done. Some lighting terms. The ones I pick out, a wash of light is one that you would use all the time. I think you're pretty confident with that anyway. Crossfade. Think about the ways light, how quickly light changes. That's useful to know. Are we fading? How quickly? How slowly? Or are we crossfading, moving from one colour or one feel to another feel? Or are we snapping? Are we going very quickly one to another? All the others, we'll move on to the pictures to explain. At the bottom, lighting gels, place them in front of the light, change the colour, see the videos again. Gobo again, see the videos for how they work, but little stencil that you place in front of the light, that'll make that pattern there on the stage. And barn doors, close them to create the shape of the light, so create squares or rectangles of the light, because obviously light is naturally circular, because that's the shape of the bulb or the lens within the light. Okay, load of terminology to go through there. It's actually really easy to apply when you start to think about it. You know the effects you want to create, you know what you want to do. You tell me every day really creative lighting ideas. Can you use some of that terminology? I'm asking you to submit one diagram or essay style series of paragraphs explaining the lighting, the production, the sound, the technical elements of one part of the play. You can choose personally any part of the play you want up to Act 1, up to the end of Act 1. Have fun.